Welcome to Conscious Living Collective, where transformation is not just a concept but an experience. My name is Tomek. I'm a scientist, teacher, and transformation coach. In this live session, we blend the latest in scientific research, the deep wisdom of mindfulness, and the art of fulfilled living. This is an invitation to have a direct experience, to rewrite your story, and to emerge with a renewed sense of purpose and well-being. How are you today? I'm very happy to be here, and I want to acknowledge all of you, your presence, all of you who come here on a regular basis, and those of you who are here for the first time. It is our tradition that in Conscious Living Collective we welcome everyone, and we want to acknowledge you and for you to help us to do it. Raise your virtual hand if you're here for the first time. And I want to recognize those of you who come here every week. I can see Tosca, I can see Joan, I can see Karen. Who did I miss? So let's see. Oh, Seth, very good to see you here. Who else we have here? We have Monica from Medellin. I still struggle with my Spanish pronunciation of that wonderful city that I actually visited, and I loved every single bit of it. In my trip to South America, Colombia was one of my favorite stops, and Medellin was certainly one of those places when I felt very, very good. Serena is new from Texas. Brooke, a river. Madam is not first time here. Madam here is for the second time. Hello, Scott. Christine from Montreal. Such a wonderful community. And right here at the start, as an introduction for those of you who are joining for the first time, Conscious Living Collective is a community. It's a place where you can come and spend some time together and very often put on the table all the worries that are part of our human predicament and face them together. And that's what I love about this community. That's why I keep coming every week. I will not be here next week. I will tell you why later on. Exciting news. Kalina. Incarcerated in a re-entry program in San Diego. I need some peace and positivity. Kalina, our peace and strength goes to you in your struggle. We have Sherry from Melbourne, Australia. Good to have an Aussie here. I am here in Sunshine Coast, Australia. And I must say there are not too many Aussies coming to my Conscious Living Collective session, to our Conscious Living Collective sessions. It would be nice to see more of you. Oh, yeah, Madam is from Brisbane, so that's good. Martha from North Carolina. Oh, hello, Sandy. Good to see you here. So today's topic, as you know, is very close to my heart. It's overcoming negative thinking. And the reason I decided to talk about negative thinking, because I had a couple of tough weeks, and that things continue. And what happens usually as a result of those things, then when I wake up, the first experience when I open up my eyes, it's not that of refreshment or intention to have a great day, but it's a torrent of negative thoughts. Negative thoughts that are so prevalent when we going through some difficulties. It is something that I'm mindful of, but it is not easy to overcome them. And that's why I want to put this out there, put my struggle out there and share it with you so we can together talk about it. And Please, hello, Anita. Good to see you here. And I want to ask you, what is the time for you, the time of the day, when you struggle with those overwhelming torrent of negative thoughts? What is that time for you? As I said, for me, please I would love to hear from you in the comment section. For me, it's definitely the morning. And the severity of it is that when I experience it in the morning, and if I let that torrent to take over, take me with it, going down the stream or down the rabbit hole, choose your pick, it may tend to set up the tone for the entire day. I'm not sure if there's a saying in English, but it's certainly saying in Polish that I woke up with the left foot. I started on the left foot. It seems like those negative thoughts tend to have that incredible effect of weighing us down and setting a negative tone for the rest of the day, as opposed to feeling energized and optimistic and have positive intentions. So today's session is about considering those negative thoughts and how we can, do not let the thoughts to overwhelm us. And right here at the start, I want to say this is absolutely common thing. Everybody goes through that. And there's nothing we can do about changing the fact that our brain is very much designed to stick to the negative thoughts. And I prepared towards that end, I prepared a cheat sheet that you can use, that I have for you, to make my point. And in order to overcome negative thinking, we have to begin by understanding where that negative thinking is coming from. We have to understand that negative thoughts are part of our human predicament, and as a matter of fact, it's part of the ways we evolved. That's how our brain evolved in order to deal with survival, to help us move forward as a humanity. Focusing on the positive thoughts wasn't really constructive. If you are focusing on the being in the la-la land, daydreaming, there are much greater chances that those saber-toothed tiger will jump you and eat you. However, if you are vigilant, constantly thinking about, oh, where's the tiger, where's the tiger, where's the danger, where's the danger, that somehow, some way helped us to survive. However, I want to ask you right here, right now, how many of you right now in this time of the history are interested purely in survival? Feel free to raise your hand. If you're just surviving, that's the only thing, that's the only intention, to come to this planet, to survive, 50, 60, 70, 80 years, and then that's it. It seems like a rhetorical question. And that's why we are here to rewrite our story, as it is the part of the description of Conscious Living Collective. We are here to rewrite the story. We are here to emerge with a renewed sense and purpose and well-being. Oh, thank you, Martha. The English idiom is to getting off on the wrong foot. Thank you. I've learned something today. My English continuously improves. So Sandy says, when I joined Insight Timer 4 years ago, I was in survival mode and not near as much now. So this is it. That survival mode Let me just bring something up for you. Why there is, even in psychology and science, there is a recognition why there's a recognition of that trait of our brain, and it's called negativity bias. Dr. Dan Siegel puts it, no, that's not Dan Siegel. Anyway, there is a saying that thoughts are very often, negative thoughts are like Velcro for our brain. They just stick. And on the contrary, positive thoughts, our brain is like a Teflon towards positive thoughts. It just comes in, bounces off, washes off, and we move on. And that's why negativity bias, it's something that we have to recognize if we are to move forward. And that has to do with not judging yourself for having negative thoughts, because it's how we evolved. That's how our brain is constructed. It helps us to survive. But to recognize that and use it towards our advantage. And I want to, during today's session, I want to offer a few pointers how to do it. And you already see it on the screen, a few of them, but I want to expand on them. So we want to recognize that survival mechanism known as the negativity bias that leads us to have or give more weight to negative experiences, to negative memories, as opposed to positive ones. And it is very important that this tendency isn't a reflection of reality. This is not reflection of reality, but rather how the mind has evolved to protect us. It's a protection mechanism. So by understanding the tendency of the brain, the negativity bias, we can begin to detach from thoughts that are coming our way, realizing that they are not always accurate reflection of reality. Just because you're having thought, it doesn't make it real or true. Most of the time, it's simply a description of some form of description of reality. And that description comes from a very specific angle. Again, negativity bias. And once we recognize that, we have a much better chance to transform those thoughts. I really appreciate the conversation that is happening. I do not follow all of it. I might come back to it a bit later. But I want to make sure that we understand that point, because without that, we won't be able to move forward. We won't be able to overcome negative thinking, but we'll be completely and utterly identified with it, which happens to me many times. It happens to me actually every day until I recognize I'm not my thoughts. This is simply an ancient innate mechanism to protect me. So what's the second step? After understanding nature of negative thoughts, understanding negativity bias, we want to identify negative thought patterns. And for me personally, the biggest struggle right now is the anger with humanity. The anger, continuous anger with how things are, the anger where we are going as a humanity, the fact that we have such a great potential and we're using it for the wrong outcomes, to create wrong outcomes. And This is how I identify. I want to lead you through the process of identification of those challenging negative thought patterns. I identify that. And now, this is obviously one of the common examples of it. It's very close to me. But how, after I identify those thought patterns, I can ask myself, is that true? Or is that always true, that humanity is going the wrong direction, that everything is gloomy and perspective is dark? And when I ask myself this question, the answer is resounding no. But that doesn't stop my brain from going that way, going into that repetitive pattern, because I repeated it so many times that certainly there is a circuits in our brain that just need a little touch, and they're being triggered instantaneously into the torrent, into the rabbit hole of that negative thinking. It's a very common pattern when you look at in psychology and in research. It's called catastrophizing. Our brain is great at catastrophizing, expecting the worst, or make it overgeneralizing, as my statement is. Believing one negative event means everything will go wrong, right? We are doomed as a humanity. Everything is bad. The wheels were set into motion. So this is something that is known, how we behave. But if we identify those challenging patterns, then we can recognize and question them in a very scientific way. What are your, by the way, I'll be curious to know, what are your recurring negative thought patterns? Do you have one? This is my time to look at the comments. Yeah, thank you, Seth. Rewriting our story. That's what we're doing here, by the way. We try to rewrite our story by rewiring our brain, one thought pattern at a time. I think Kalina is on the path of transformation. I wish I could go back to the previous comments, but it seems like you're doing great. Whoa, okay. Leaps and bounds, Sandy. I was homeless, lonely, junkie before my arrest. I was saved via prison. I just got 2 degrees. My hope and faith, sobriety, my family back and job, and I parole in 4 weeks. Super blessed. This is, what a success story. Kalina, thank you so much for coming here and sharing it. That's certainly that puts my challenges into perspective. So I love that. Yeah, Seth. Z says, I'm a bad person, Seth, reviewing mistakes from the past over and over. Yes. Yes. Certainly. Andrea, I'm going to fail. Laura, I'm going to fail, not adequate. Bottom's gonna fall out. Sherry, fears change. Another very prevalent part of our wiring concept. We are, as a humanity, afraid of failing. And even if there's something amazing in front of you, our brain will throw at you those excuses. And recognizing that and understanding, accepting this is normal, it's fundamental in beginning the process of rewiring and challenging yourself. One of the things that we come here with is courage. In the 12-step program, 90% of success is showing up, or big part of success. I don't know what the percentage is. I don't want to make up story here. But every time, if you have courage to show up here to sessions of Conscious Living Collective, or to session with your psychologist, or just to talk to friends and open up. And for instance, like Colleen said about her story, that's where the story begins. That's where that process begins. So I should do and be better. That's not good enough. Just try harder. Thank you guys for sharing. Yvette, whatever the issue is, it will never get better, only worse. Brain illness, death of loved ones. Karen, mistakes in the past and worry for the future. Andrea, I have an amazing job coming up, but I'm scared. Okay, so the fear of the unknown, right? Fear of failing. Brooke, I'm incapable and can't handle what comes my way. And Natasha, I feel stability. That's an interesting one. But I think Tosca, Tosca congratulates Kalina. Yes, indeed. I think based on just a few comments here, you see the pattern. You see that catastrophizing I spoke about, that it's so prevalent. Overgeneralizing. All or nothing thinking. That's another way of putting it. So now, once we identify the pattern, by the way, thank you so much all of you for contribution. I really love this exchange because my story, whatever I share from my perspective, it's my personal story. But in order for start the process transformation, you have to make it personal. And sharing openly your struggle and those negative thought patterns will kickstart the process of transformation. Simply spelling it out, exercising those neural pathways in your brain that recognize what is there. That's where it starts. So thank you for your courage and thank you for sharing. And now the next step after you identify this thought pattern, right? Reoccurring thought pattern, ask yourself, is this really true? What evidence do I have to support this thought? Okay. Is everything that you're telling yourself in that unconscious negative torrent of thinking, is everything that you say true? In my case, would it be, is it true that everything goes to shit? Is it everything doom and gloom? And as I already said, my answer to this question is no. I just came back this morning from the beach. The most wonderful vista, warm water, sun, no signs of this doom and gloom. Are there places in the world where that happens, where there is the opposite? Absolutely. But do I have evidence? Can I say in general with whole confidence that is happening? I cannot. So in order to take next step in the overcoming negative thinking, we have to start breaking those negative cycles. So we already understood where they come from. We recognize, we identified negative thought patterns, and now we must begin breaking those negative thinking cycles. And that's where Conscious Living Collective comes handy. That's when mindfulness and open awareness helps. Are we able to hold in awareness, not judgmentally, those thought patterns when they come? This will be, by the way, the topic of our meditation or intention behind the meditation that will follow our discussion. Can we together hold those negative thought patterns without reacting, without identification, without judgment? Is it easy? It's a very simple thing to say for me. I recognize that. But it's not easy. That's why we come together. That's why we will sit together, supported by wonderful music that I prepared for you today, and face those thought patterns together, whatever comes your way. And I promise they will come, because thoughts always come, because they always come because we train our brain. Our brain is already trained, but of spending hours and hours every day overthinking. We obviously are very well trained in the art of overthinking. So they will come. And when they come, you will be able, you will have a chance to ask all those important questions. Are they true? Am I my thoughts? And number 4, very important part in this entire process of overcoming negative thinking is cultivating self-compassion. And I can't stress enough the power of self-compassion. You see, in a small on a small caption under the self-compassion, I have written self-compassion as an antidote to negative thinking. The strongest antidote for negative thinking is not thinking over and over again. It's showing compassion to that human predicament that we are in, that is always there and always will be. And from self-compassion, understanding this is not that it's not our fault, it's simply the things they are. We cannot change the sun, we cannot stop sun from rising and rain from falling. Simply this is the world that we subscribe to. That has been designed. And rather than complaining about how the world is designed, we are taking a deep breath. That's what I've got. That's the brain, that's the body I have. And quite frankly, I love my body. I love my brain. It's definitely, if I use it correctly, there's so many things I can do. So many positive, creative, wonderful things I can do. But certainly, that also one of the aspects of that body and mind of mine is the negativity bias. So I treat it with compassion. One thought at a time. And for those of you who didn't have a chance to be here last week, we have the entire session on cultivating self-compassion, because it is such an important skill to have and such an important part of our life to practice. Cultivating self-compassion. And then, once we bring into the light of awareness those negative thought patterns, once we question them intellectually, you see, there's a component of self-compassion acceptance, but also we use a bit of intellect to tackle them, right? To ask those difficult questions. Are those thoughts true always? Are they helpful in my situation, thinking those negative thoughts? Once we shed the light of awareness on them, we can start the process of transformation. And all those 4 steps, all those 4 bullet points I present to you are there to build positive mental habits. This is not something that would happen on its own. Building positive mental habits is something that requires conscious effort. When we sit to meditation in a moment, you will make a conscious effort to recognize those thoughts, to sit with them, and to observe them in a non-judgmental way. That's the effort I'm talking about. This is obviously one of them. The other way of rewiring your brain is the classic gratitude journal. Write down all the wonderful things. For me, beautiful, sunny, warm morning definitely will go on the gratitude journal list. We can start bringing to our mind and visualize positive outcomes. What are the positive things that happened in the past and what are the things that we look forward to. One of the things that happens to me, I always, if I engage my brain, and if I have something to look forward to, and I have one thing I very much look forward to tomorrow, I'll share that with you at the end, somehow my brain jumps on board and it's less preoccupied with negative thinking and it's more occupied by that constructive, take me from A to finish line, right? So having something to look forward to. And sometimes, I won't lie to you, there are not big things. Sometimes, or very often actually, it's my first coffee in the morning. Start with a meditation, sit on a cushion, and then I turn on my wonderful coffee machine. And after I finish meditation, it's all ready to go and I can have my morning coffee. And how much I look forward to that every single morning without a miss. Small things. They don't have to be, life-changing or career-changing. Small things. Looking forward to it. That's what your brain, work with your brain. Work with the ability of your brain to really anticipate, but take us to the outcome. Right? Your brain does not come with new ideas, but your brain is very good with taking you or drawing a path from A to B. If you visualize clearly what is A, and you show it what a B is, your brain is excellent in drawing that path. That's where we excel as humans. It's our creativity excels. Look at the history. We started with, I don't want to be eaten by predators. So we created shelter. We're very creative with that. The houses that we live in are way beyond just being a shelter. They are comfortable and have wonderful things that make our lives easier. And that was as a result of, I want to have shelter that does not protects me from danger, but is also comfortable. We created means of travel, means of communication, as a result of giving our brain something constructive to work with, as opposed to simply let it to sit idle and dwell on the negative thoughts. And this is one of those habits, right? If you get up in the morning and you write down what you are grateful for and what you're looking forward to, your brain will support that. Will be less negative thinking. It's a habit. It takes conscious effort. So from the neuroscientific point of view, habit is building fresh new neural pathways. There are brain cells, there are neurons that are connected in many wonderful ways. The number of connections in your brain is more than the number of stars in the universe. Think about that. How well connected is your brain? So by creating those habits, habit is another way of creating neural pathway in your brain. And I tell you one more thing from the neuroscientific point of view. The more you engage your brain in creating those new positive quote unquote neural pathways. Neural pathways in your pathway. There's no positive and negative. It's a neural pathway that supports one behavior and does not support the other. So I want to be more precise here in scientific. There's no bad and good neural pathways. There are neural pathways that support behaviors that serve us, and there are neural pathways that support behaviors that do not serve us, as compulsive negative thinking. So not only we create these pathways that support good behaviors, but the neural pathways that being unused, being pruned. Your brain has this amazing ability. What is not being used is being pruned, is being rejected. So those neural pathways, if you continuously create a habit of rewiring those neural pathways, the neural pathways that are responsible for negative thinking will be less and less prevalent, be physically less present in your brain. So that's what's called also neuroplasticity, your ability to change your brain with the conscious effort of your awareness. So over time, this habitual practices build new neural pathways that promote a more positive outlook on life. That's what we create. You are the creator of your experience of your life. So again, daily gratitude reminders, daily small things we look forward to, bring it to your mind. You can use visualization. How's it going to feel when I'm going to grind my new batch of beans and put it into my coffee machine and have it? Definitely something I look forward to. But the conscious effort here is that you have to include it into your daily routine. I would love to hear, actually, do you have anything in your day that you look forward to? I'll be curious to know, what is your go-to thing? One or two? Michelle, exercise. Wonderful. Serena, going for a walk. Joan, walking my dog. Of course. Thank you, Joan. Joyce, Inside Timer Lives. Kate, morning Qigong. Fantastic. Lee, walking my dog. Michaela, hugging my kids. There's no better source of endorphins than hugging your kids. Natasha, sleep. Very smart. Sleep. Everyone, this is my advice, should be looking forward to your sleep. Sleep is many events on sleep. Brain, walking on the creek by my house. Seth, exercise as well. For me, exercise is one of those things, going for a surf or playing beach volleyball. Personally, I love being outdoors. And by the way, when I feel overwhelmed, this is my personal, it's not on the list, it's very personal. I understand it might not appear to everyone. When I really feel crushed by negative thoughts, one of the easiest thing that works for me is to get out of the house. Physically get out and go into nature. I'm very lucky to have a beautiful natural environment, a place where I live, and I'm never too far away from a forest or a lake on the ocean, and that always works. I just get myself together, get out. Who else we have? Pat, time with my rabbits. I love it. Animals. I love animals. All animals are just amazing. Madam, I love my morning walk and coffee. Sometimes yoga class, spending time with my partner. Z, going outside in the morning and watering my plants and enjoying nature. Love it. I just replanted my orchid and I'm so looking forward for it to flower again. So many comments. I want to give an example of a few more. Sherry Sunshine, Scott, listening to new music I've never heard before. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Sitting with my dog and my morning Diet Coke while looking at nature. Fantastic. Adding a few more pieces to my current jigsaw puzzle. Kathy. Meditation, gentle yoga to start my day. Medihat. I'm not sure if I mispronounce your name. Meditation. Anita, walking nearby park. Meditation, visiting gardens, taking care of chickens. Love it. I love animals. Animals are always mindful. Vivian, going for a walk, inside time meditations. Sue, quality time with my daughter. I love this. Karen, morning meditation and watching sunrise. I'm loving this. Somebody gives me actually a lot of inspiration to do more things. I want to include Qigong, by the way. I started very simple. I think I need to move my energy a bit better and work with my energy a bit better. Kalina, everything, wearing my own real clothes, eating real meals, hot showers. I could go on and on. I think, Kalina, considering your circumstances, um, this is, you see, changing perspective. The simplest thing can be most enjoyable. And I want to share with you my experience. And this is not a competition, Kalina. After 5 months in India, I cannot tell you when I came back to Australia. For the first week, taking shower, where there's a warm water and good pressure of water, was one of the most enjoyable experiences of my life. I am not kidding you right now. Taking a shower was when I still remember the first one. I opened the tap and the water started pouring. And I volunteered in India and spent a lot of time in Kolkata, where that wasn't such an obvious thing. There was no warm water in the tap. Or sometimes there wasn't water in the tap at all. To have that comfort that I take for granted right now, it was such a spectacular thing. Vivian, talk to my children. Kate, nature's essential. Of course, river gardening. Vivian, listening to classical music. Yeah. Okay, Serena recently started a course with Salala on Qigong, and the organism have been looking forward to engaging in it every day. Wonderful. Tosca, sitting out on my balcony with my doggy in the evening, very peaceful. We could go on and on and on. So, to summarize, thank you, by the way, for sharing that. That's incredible. A lot of inspiration just by sharing those positive things that we can look forward to build positive mental habits that will ultimately take our mind and brain away from compulsive negative thinking. So first, we must understand the nature of negative thoughts and the concept of negativity bias, the fact that it's not your fault. That's what became. You have two hands and 2 feet, and you have also negative thinking. That's what the body comes with. That's what your brain comes with. And understanding that helps us not to judge ourselves so harshly and engage the inner critic, whole nother. Second, identifying negative thought patterns. Some of them, they are very easy to identify because we think about them all the time. And then in order to break them, we have to identify them first. And mindfulness is the way, and keeping them in awareness in non-judgmental way is the way of breaking those negative thinking cycles. Cultivating self-compassion. Self-compassion is our best friend. Talking to yourself as you talk to a best friend. And cultivating and building those positive mental habits that you all already have. Just being more mindful of them. In that very same vein, I have a course called 6 Pillars of Conscious Living. 6 Pillars of Conscious Living helps you explore things that are most common in your life, that build your life, that can be used to support your well-being, to help you build those positive mental habits on a daily basis that are based off the most fundamental functions of your body and mind. If you're curious, please do visit my profile and check this course, 6 Pillars of Conscious Living, and multiple meditations that are both on self-compassion, inner critic, how to deal with inner critic, and so on and so forth. But right now, I want to invite you to join me in meditation. I will turn off the cheat sheet for now. We don't need it. And let's have a direct experience of how the thinking is prevalent in our daily life and how we can together deal with it, how we can overcome them in this very moment. It starts right here and right now. And as I promised, I have for you Weston Brown and his Pastures of Green. I'm going to type it in the comment section. Weston Brown, Pastures of Green. Weston will be supporting us with his wonderful music. I will switch to the meditation screen. And when my brain hears meditation, I already start relaxing. I agree with you, Sue. Weston is the best. Let's begin this meditation by recognizing that negative thinking is part of who we are. It is how we evolved. And it's not your fault that you have negative thoughts. But it is your responsibility to look at them in a kind and compassionate way. So make yourself feel comfortable. Sit with your back straight. Plant your feet on the floor, your hands in your lap, in a way that feels right for you. Recognize that in this meditation, you want to treat yourself as you would treat a good friend. Rather than being critical, you tap yourself on the shoulder and say, it's going to be all right. Allow your eyes to close. And bring to awareness everything that happens within you right now. What is your state of mind and body? Is there any tension that you can relieve? Perhaps you wish to adjust your posture to make yourself feel even more comfortable. Treat your body and mind with friendliness. Recognizing that you are loved, you are worthy, and you are enough. And from this perspective, begin observing your mind. Maybe there is a commentary that is happening in the background of this experience. What is this commentary trying to tell you? Who is it that is doing the thinking? If you recognized that the thoughts that you experience are of negative nature, ask yourself, have I decided to have those thoughts? Who is having these thoughts? Allow them to come. Welcome them in awareness, recognizing that you are not your thoughts. This will help you to hold them and see how they come, stay for a while, and they pass away. Like a tree in the forest. The wind comes, moves it, and when the wind disappears, the tree is still there. Coming back to the true nature of yourself, which is the consciousness that you are, the awareness where your thoughts are happening in. Mind tries to understand the experience. But thoughts are not the experience itself. They are just a description. So right now, come back to the awareness itself, in which experience happens, in which thoughts happen. There's no need to be afraid of your thoughts. Recognize the impermanence of the thought patterns. They may not even be your thoughts, but simply collective patterns that has been repeated so many times that you accept them as yours. Ask yourself if the current thoughts are serving you. If so, you may accept them, but if not, simply let them pass. Feel playful in this space. You are safe, secure and protected. And I am here to hold the space for you as you explore on your own for the next couple of minutes. And now it is time to return. Recognize, how do you feel in awareness? Can you sense a difference in your mindset? You can come back to this moment, to this space, every time when you find yourself overwhelmed with negative thoughts. Coming back to the awareness of here and now with compassion, acceptance is the way to navigate the landscape of negative thinking. It is the path of transformation. And you are the active ingredient here, capable of transforming and changing any and all negative thought patterns. Feel free to use this method throughout your week to see the difference that it will make in your well-being, in the way you feel. All right, now, start being aware of your physical senses that connect you with the reality around you. Vision, hearing, smell, taste, touch. Become aware of your surroundings, your feet on the floor, your hands in your lap. And to finish, take one deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And when ready, open your eyes and welcome back. And here we are, back from the experience. Thank you so much for being here with me, for meditating with me. It was very helpful. How do you feel right now? This is our tradition to ask you and to describe in one word or two. How is your experience right now? What are the words that would describe your experience right now? Scott feels relieved. So, relieved and hopeful. I'm with you on this one, Sue. I feel hopeful because I feel much better equipped to face my day. And when the negative thoughts will come, I feel much better prepared to deal with them. Thank you, Sue. Jackie, peaceful. Thank you, Sherry. Vanessa, grateful. Z, calm and mon-centered. Viviana, relaxed and balanced. Mariana, peaceful. Geraldine, grateful. Kalina, thank you. I need to go and take a nice hot shower, go to sleep in my cozy bed, and wake up refreshed and excited to gratefully go to work. Thank you, Kalina. Thank you for being here with us. It was great to have you here. Vivian, very calm, relieved, and hopeful, and very grateful. Natasha, grateful. I consider all of those as positive outcomes. So thank you so much for sharing these with all of us. And now to the news I promised to share with you. And the reason why I won't be here, I will not be here next week. I'm going to Japan. I'm taking a break, 2 weeks, to go and explore, to rewire my brain with wonderful culture and new place. I have never been to Japan, so if you know someone in Japan that could offer me a hand or help, I really appreciate that. Maybe send me a message with places if you've been that you recommend. I would go to. I've been wanting to go to Japan for a very long time, and this is my break. I love culture. I love new places. I love exploring both my mind and the world around me. And so this will be creating, over the next 2 weeks, I'll be rewiring my brain in a very different way. Staying away from the familiar and throwing myself into unfamiliar, because it goes without saying that Japanese culture is as different from the culture I'm here now as it's humanly it's possible. So yeah, thank you so much. So please, thank you, Anita. Please, if you guys could send me a private message through Insight Timer, that would be great. Thank you so much. For those of you who obviously want to continue on this path, there are a couple of things to do it. I have so many resources on Insight Timer. I have guided meditations. I have course. I also offer one-on-one sessions outside of Insight Timer for those of you who are interested in going deeper into overcoming negative thinking. It's sometimes very important to have a friend or someone who guides you and to be by your side in this process, because it's not easy. That's why we come here. That's why I don't do it simply by reading books. I come here and share this knowledge with you, and I'm very much loving the feedback that I'm getting. So thank you so much once again for this session. I will see you in 3 weeks' time. Take good care of yourself, and I will leave you here with Weston Brown and Pastures of Green. This wonderful, wonderful music that he prepared for us. Take good care of yourself, and I see you next time.